everybody. This is for everybody out there in the conspiracy community, the anti-vax community, the vegan, vegetarian community, the organic community, for the mainstreamers, all of you guys. Okay? The FDA knows they deal with poisons. They know biotech deals with poisons. I don't know how many ways that they have to prove it to you that they know they deal with poisons. Is there anything that they can do to basically let you know they deal with poisons? Do they have to tell you they deal with poisons? No, they already say that we have to have every drug that is a poison that creates antibodies. It has to be regulated. It has to be. Why do you think they asked me to prove that my stuff was probiotic? There's a reasoning behind this, okay? So this thing with Dr. Sebi and this rapper that allegedly was supposed to be working on a film about Dr. Sebi, who also is in the Crips LA gangs world, they're tying his death to the fact that he was going to do a documentary on Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi was not anybody revolutionary. He was not anybody revolutionary at all. Yeah, he may have said certain herbs and certain roots and certain things were very, very aggressive as far as the antibiotic qualities, but he still dealt with herbs. He was still an herbalist. Okay? He was still an herbalist. And I'm going to read you some stuff about, even though it's from Wikipedia, it doesn't matter if it's from Wikipedia or not. You can find any perspective on Dr. Sebi, and it would still say that he's an herbalist, because people in the herbs world think that the herbs are so like revolutionary. Oh yeah, the herbs are so great. No, herbs are poisons. No matter what kind of herb you're talking about, it's still a freaking poison. Okay? So I'm going to read you exactly who Dr. Sebi was according to Wikipedia. Okay? Okay, so he was born November 26, 1933, died August 6, 2016. His name was actually Alfredo Darrington Bowman, better known as Dr. Sebi. He was a Honduran herbalist. Okay, they can't get any more clear than this. And herbs are antigen, create antibodies. So he's dealing with poisons. That's why those who are dealing with the CBD industry and the cannabis industry, just wait. There will be lawsuits against that industry down the road when people start dying faster because their bodies are more mutated than they were this generation or even generations ago. So he was a Honduran herbalist and a self-proclaimed healer. Bowman claimed to cure. See, he claimed to cure all diseases with herbs and a unique vegan diet based on various pseudoscience claims. His diet was based on his discredited alkaline diet. Alkaline is freaking antibiotic. We've already established this. Okay? Alkaline is basically having such a high pH where it kills and neutralizes everything. Do you realize that alkaline agents or alkyl agents are very aggressive negative agents, negative elements? And chemotherapy is a negative alkaline agent. Okay? So if you're doing any detoxes or living an alkaline diet, you're basically doing chemotherapy on yourself, holistic style. All right? So don't think you're revolutionary because you're doing something alkaline. His beliefs on the origin of disease denied germ theory and taught that HIV is not the cause of AIDS. Oh my God. HIV is an antibody, and when it agglutinates, it turns into the AIDS virus. We already see that with the titer tests. Okay? When you go get a titer test, you're proving you have antibodies. You're proving you have a layer of protection. That's why the government has these vaccines. Okay, so you see why the government's like, holy shit, this guy's a freaking quack. He doesn't even know freaking science. All right, and then he has a bunch of followers that don't know science either. So it's like the blind leading the blind. So his beliefs on the origin of disease denied germ theory and taught that HIV is not the cause of AIDS. Oh my God. And factored in faux Afrocentric claims with the unique genetic characteristics of Africans and its diaspora. Okay, so now we have his early years, the biography. Bowman was born in Langa, Honduras. He first learned of herbal healing from his grandmother. Bowman moved to the United States and, according to his literature, was dissatisfied with the traditional medicinal practices in treating his asthma, diabetes, and impotency. After visits to Mexico to see an herbalist, whom Bowman claimed healed him, he began an herbal healing practice in New York. So he is practicing poisons without a license. All right, the FDA has already admitted that you cannot claim cures or have a drug on the market without it being FDA approved because it's a freaking poison. Can you get the connections, people? All right, career. He began another practice in Honduras called the Usha Research Institute in a village called Usha near La Ceiba, Honduras. Bowman made vast amounts of money, more than $3,000 a day, after giving advice to some notable celebrities, including Lisa Lopez, Steven Seagal, John Travolta, Eddie Murphy, and Michael Jackson. After the lawsuits in New York, he relocated to Los Angeles, California. Well, Lisa Lopez is dead, but there's always these conspiracies around. She's an Illuminati sacrifice. Steven Seagal is aging rapidly. John Travolta has so much plastic surgery, I don't think it's really helping him. And Eddie Murphy is aging as well, and Michael Jackson is dead. So you go figure that taking all those herbs are not helping your mutations at all whatsoever. All right. Arrest and death controversy. Bowman was arrested for money laundering in March 2016 while attempting to transfer from a commercial flight from the United States to a private plane at the Juan Manuel Galvez de Roton Airport while carrying $37,000 in cash. On 28 May 2016, he was arrested again carrying $50,000 and taken into custody. He was first released pending a court hearing on June 6, 2016, only to be rearrested by the public ministerio on money laundering charges. He was held for several weeks in a Honduran prison as his family was attempting to obtain his release and subsequently died en route. Oh yeah, so he subsequently died en route to Hospital de Antoni on 6 August 2016 due to complications of pneumonia after police officials realized the severity of his ill health. Oh, his protocol obviously wasn't working for him. The length of his time in custody and conditions at the jail may have contributed to his death. Potentially, but hey, if you are a strong person, you could handle, but you wouldn't be in this type of situation to begin with if you weren't dealing with poisons. You wouldn't be in jail if you weren't dealing with poisons or mutated in some way, okay? Now, there is a theory held by some of his followers who don't know science, who question his arrest and death, claiming that there was a conspiracy to silence him because his teaching is different from the medical establishment. No, they're not any different. The herbs are no different than the biotech prescription drugs. It's the same elements that you see on the periodic tables, okay, but they're packaged a little bit differently. One's in a lab and one's in Mother Nature, but they ain't freaking different. They're the same, okay? See, people with Dr. Sebi that follow Dr. Sebi don't know science, don't know chemistry, don't know shit. I'm sorry, I know I swear occasionally, but I'm just so tired of seeing this conspiracy of that guy, Nippy, whatever his name is, being tied to how Dr. Sebi and him were both being off by the medical establishment and by the mainstream because they held some kind of secret to freaking life. No, sorry, but you're holding no secrets. It's already out there. It's poisons. The FDA already admits that they deal with poisons. That's why you got to be licensed. Okay, I don't know how more clear the FDA can be when it comes to drugs. Herbs are a freaking drug. I mean, how else can they? I mean, I don't think they can be any more clear. I don't think I can be any more clear. But here's another perspective on it. The FDA knows they deal with poisons. That's why they have to regulate it. Drugs are poisons, period, point blank. So how you use the drugs and then how you get it tested, and you have to do a test on a cross-section of people so you know how it's going to affect the population, because some people have so many mutations that they're bringing to the table that you have to factor in those people and make sure that the drug is accurately labeled so people know what they're getting into if they decide to do it. And the doctors know that if a person has lupus, fibromyalgia, diabetes, whatever, that there might be some kind of issue with this drug and the drugs they're already taking, okay? So you can't go and try to cure someone with herbs without going through the proper FDA process. Okay, so obviously it's being told out there the FDA has to regulate poisons. Okay, so personal life. Bowman considered himself an African, not an African Honduran, but an African in Honduras. At the time of his death, he had 17 living children. His maternal grandfather was from Haiti. Okay, 17, that's a lot of kids. When you're having a lot of kids, that means that you're afraid that humanity is afraid it's going to go extinct because of your practices. And so, yes, he was very fertile and married or had sex with very fertile women who are on a death trajectory as well. Lawsuits. In 1987, New York City charged him with a criminal charge of practicing medicine without a license. It was recognized that Dr. Sebi was not a physician. Well, no duh. He was acquitted because jurors claimed the state failed to show he made a medical diagnosis. He was later sued by the New York Attorney General for consumer fraud and prevented from making therapeutic claims for his products. See, this is where the OAG and the Federal Trade Commission were on my case in the beginning when I first was making claims and saying all these things about specific diseases. And so obviously I had to change my website so it reflected that this was not a cure. And it's true. My J juice is not a cure. Okay, it's not a poison. So of course they wouldn't want me to misrepresent and misadvertise my juice as a cure when there's no poison in it. So in a lot of ways, the government is saying, hey, your stuff is actually a probiotic because you got it tested. So don't claim it's a cure. It can do these specific things, because when you do have a cure on the market, it's because there is an immediate result of some specific manifestation based upon the intention. And with J juice, we don't know what's going to happen right off the bat. Your body is going to determine what is a priority. And sometimes you go in for a specific thing on J juice, and it turns out that that specific thing isn't addressed right away. It may not be addressed for a few layers of healing symptoms down the road. Okay? But most likely the most severe thing that you're dealing with today will probably be addressed right off the bat. And it may actually get worse, not get better. When you deal with cures, you're dealing with poisons, and you're trying to stop the prostaglandin hormone from coming to surface, because that is what is the pain sensation, and that's what also aids in the healing process. And thank you, Susan Gould-Eckhoff, for that compliment. Okay, so the Federal Trade Commission and the OAG both wanted to make sure that I was not miscategorizing myself. And so in a lot of ways, they actually took up for me. They were my backup against people who wanted to lynch the fuck out of me. Like, seriously, for no reason but the ignorance. But now that I actually got my stuff tested, it's a probiotic. There is no way that it could be held responsible for any death. But Dr. Sebi could potentially have, and that's why the New York Attorney General went after him. And that's why they're not going after me, because I'm not making claims for one, I have no cures for two, and it's not a poison for three. Okay? So this is where people need to understand really, truly the differences here. And we have a lot of people that do not understand the difference. So, people of the state of New York versus Ogun Herbal Research Institute, and that's his research institute. At a 1993 congressional hearing, Shirley Stark, who headed the New York Attorney General's Consumer Fraud Section, indicated that a civil suit against Bowman's company has been successful, stating, here we go, a particularly glaring example of unsubstantiated therapeutic claims made for herbal supplements occurred a few years ago when the Usha Herbal Research Institute, run by a self-styled nutritionist calling himself Dr. Sebi, advertised in the Village Voice and the Amsterdam News that AIDS has been cured by Usha. And that they also specialize in cures for leukemia, sickle cell anemia, herpes, lupus, and other diseases. For an initial fee of $500, oh yeah, he's not benevolent. For an initial fee of $500 and $80 for each additional visit, patients were told they could be cured of AIDS and other diseases. The cures consisted of various herbal products for each of which Usha made therapeutic claims. Eva Therapeutic Salve, for example, was referred in Usha's brochure as very effective on major skin problems in prenatal use against poor circulation, cancer, cysts, hemorrhoids, and arthritis. In fact, these claims were also false. Our office filed suit against Usha and entered a consent agreement under which Usha can no longer make therapeutic claims for any of its products. See, I have no product. It's just a recipe. All right? But no, Dr. Sebi, he really took it to the next level, and he charged $500. Holy crap. Are you kidding me? And I'm charging $19.95 for a freaking book, or $9.99 for a freaking ebook, and people still have issues with that. They're like, oh my God, she's so money hungry. Dr. Sebi was never a saint. $500? Are you freaking kidding me? Gee, and $80 for each additional visit. Wow. You know, anyone that defends Dr. Sebi should be ashamed of themselves. Seriously. The consent judgment prohibits the Ogun Herbal Research Institute, Fig Tree Products Company, Alfred Bowman, MAA Bowman, and their successors, heirs and assigns, from claiming that their products of service could cure, relieve, or alter in any way the course of AIDS, herpes, leukemia, sickle cell anemia, lupus, or any other human disease or physical condition, distributing or advertising such products, and diagnosing, treating, and prescribing for any human disease without a valid state license by the New York State Education Department. A sum of $900 for costs was assessed to the defendants. Wow. And you see that I never went through that at all. So you realize that I am not in the league at all with Dr. Sebi, as well as any pseudoscience. I don't dabble in pseudoscience, just so you know, guys. All right, Alfred Bowman and Dr. Sebi LLC versus Michael Jackson. Ho-ho. In 2004, Bowman claims that he was not paid in full for an alleged treatment for Michael Jackson to help him overcome painkiller addiction to Demerol and morphine with his African bioelectric cell food therapy, which apparently lasted 6 months at an Aspen retreat, providing him with special herb compounds and trained cooks. Bowman claims that $380,000 was outstanding and sought $600,000 in lost revenue of the defendant and the deferment of clients and various speaking arrangements. After Jackson's brother Randy only gave him $10,000, Raymond Bain, a publicist of Jackson, acknowledged that Bowman was a friend of Jackson, but denies that his client received any professional treatment or he had any painkiller addiction. The case was dismissed in 2015 for lack of prosecution. And it didn't help Jackson anyways. So that was the end of this whole Wikipedia thing. Ho ho. So does this kind of resonate now? Oh, I'm sure. What is blood clots 2? What are you talking about blood clots 2, Eleanor? You guys, if you want to know if this juice is going to represent any of your conditions, go get my book, because you have 11 different systems. And if you do J-Juice, you're going to have to figure out what your situation is going to be addressed first. I can't tell you if your blood clots are going to be addressed, because I have no idea what you do. If you understand my book, you understand the human body, you understand the recipe, and you read my book, you can ask those questions in the discussion forum, then you will find out. But I can never promise you your situation will get addressed, because I have no idea what you do in your world. Okay? I have no idea what you do in your world. And I can't promise you anything, Eleanor. You got to go get my book. It's only $19.95. I don't know what the deal is with why people cannot buy the book and just read and understand that, you know what? Nutrition doesn't discriminate. You guys have to realize this. I don't know why people think that because they think they're so special. You think you're so special that your situation would totally be like immune to nutrition? Like, seriously? You would think that? Why would you even ask that? Go get my book. I don't deal with antibiotics, Eleanor Carter Bonner. What you're asking is something that you would ask in the holistic allopathic market when they compartmentalize disease and they deal with poisons to deal with your disease. I don't deal with poisons. So there is nothing that I could really answer to you until you actually get the book and then put forth your money where your mouth is and put forth the energy and then go give us the receipt. We'll give you a login and password, and you can ask all the questions you want in the community, and you can read the book and find out for yourself if this protocol is for you. If you're looking for a quick fix, a short-term benefit, if you're looking for poisons to deal with, go to the holistic allopathic world and ask for a prescription drug or an herb to deal with your blood disorder. Okay? That's all I can say. But if you want to people want to put me in the same category as the allopathic holistic, like I have to answer every single question on whether or not your disorder is going to be something that's going to be under J-juice, then you are still in the mindset of the allopathic holistic. You don't belong on J-juice. Nobody belongs on J-juice if they want to put me in that category of Dr. Sebi of the holistic allopathic world. And if you think you're too special for J-juice, then that's fine. Stay in your world. If you think J-juice couldn't handle your disorder, whatever it is, then you need to stay in the allopathic holistic world and get your short-term benefits that will give you then the side effects and destroy other systems, because you're dealing with poisons. Jelly juice is not a poison, it's a probiotic. It's already been tested by a food lab, okay? And you don't need to be scared of the chemtrails, of the 5G, of GMO. See, you know, everybody that lives in the Dr. Sebi world, and the conspiracy world, and the activist world do not understand balance. Dr. Sebi didn't understand balance either. He may have said, okay, garlic was poisonous, but he still dealt with herbs. He understood that there was more severe herbs than others, but he still dealt with herbs. He still dealt with poisons. And when you deal with poisons, guess what? You get more negative consequences when you deal with poisons, and you get the government on your ass. Okay? So with J-juice, it is a recipe that has all the right elements that will counter and then cause you to heal, which means you're going to be in pain. And if you don't understand that pain is healing, it's part of the Jelly Juice protocol, then you need to stay in the allopathic holistic world, anesthetize yourself, pretend like you're doing something for yourself as you're degrading the system, and end up like your mom and dad and your grandma and your great-grandma and great-grandpa, and just carry on the same death tradition. Nothing wrong with it. People do it. But some people want something different for themselves and for their kids. Some people actually want to actually heal, not pretend like they're healing by anesthetizing their body and pretending that they have something revolutionary and making $500 freaking dollars. What the hell? I'm tripping on that. $500. I only charged $75 for 1 hour back when I was doing personal consultations. But I don't do those anymore because those are totally full of drama. When people come to me with all of their issues and their drama and the reasons why they're this and that, oh my God, and then I get caught up in the drama, it actually causes mutations in me when I take on someone else's drama. So I make sure I stay away from the drama. I stay away from the activists. I stay away from people who have drama in their life that want to just throw it on me and just throw up on me. I stay away from it all. I say, hey, you have the potential to really correct the mutations in your life and relieve yourself of the drama. If you don't want to, that's your choice. But some of you thrive on it. Some of you get off on it. And there's nothing I can do to help a person that gets off on the mutations, who gets off of mutating themselves as well as everybody else around them. So yeah, so Dr. Sebi was no hero. No, he wasn't even on the right track. Because, you know, he didn't even know science. Okay, dealing with herbs is no different than dealing with the pharmaceuticals. People may think that, oh yeah, he may have been on the right track because he's, you know, going away from the pharmaceuticals. But when you actually break it all down, I mean, it kind of sounds like they are, because you're dealing with like stuff in the garden versus something in the lab. But when you break it all down to the periodic tables, this is what you're dealing with. And you have your own internal universe that has specific formula that you have to adhere to, but you got to know the formula to understand how to work with the formula in your body. Then you have to understand what happens when your body is healing. And people don't understand when they're in pain, it's actually the body trying to heal, even off of J-juice. You're off of J-juice and you're in the matrix and you're in freaking pain. You need to deal with the pain. But sometimes the pain is too great, so you have to go take a painkiller. Okay, I get it. But you have to then, if you're going to take painkillers, then you got to couple it with J-juice, because you still got to fix the mutations, even though you're bringing up to surface the prostaglandin hormone that aids in the healing process. And yes, pain is a sensation, but you still got to repair the mutations. You still got to get your antibodies at bay. You still got to get your cancer at bay. You still got to get your hormones balanced. You got to get your hormones to where they're supposed to be firing in this area and then not firing in this area. And you're supposed to have the body be the one to determine that, not you or your doctor. But if you are in the shortcuts and you're in imminent danger, then yes, your doctor's going to be the one to then figure out which hormone they're going to manipulate to then give you some kind of relief so you can have a relatively quality of life before you pass on. Okay? That's what a doctor is they deal with poisons. They understand how the poisons work. So that way you don't die tomorrow. But they know that when they deal with poisons, it has to be regulated. Okay? So doctors know they deal with poisons. That's why they're licensed. The FDA knows that any product that claims anything is a poison. It has to be approved. You as a person can't go out there next door and mix a bunch of stuff from under your kitchen cabinet, pine sol and ammonia, and say, hey, I got the cure for cancer. Oh no, that is illegal. You cannot go and take mercury and ammonia and whatever and put it in a bottle and say this is a cure for cancer. That is why the FDA exists, because people do that shit. They do that with the drugs, the fentanyl, the opioid addictions, all of that. And that's why the government is there, to make sure that they don't have that on the streets. And then people think the government is so bullshit. And so when I see somebody on my Facebook that promotes, that says, oh, I hate the FDA, or oh, I hate all the policemen, all this stuff, I immediately delete them. Like anyone that actually promotes the herbs and anything else, or is passed around the whole thing with the conspiracy with that, whatever the guy is, Nippy, whatever his name is, and the Dr. Sebi stuff, I immediately delete. I have no patience for any more conspiracy bullshit. No more. Because now we have to understand how this world works. Not listen to all the conspiracy stuff, not listen to the people who make up stories in their head that don't know the laws. And we have to understand that, yes, we are dealing with elements. We are dealing with elements, and there's specific formulas, okay, to different purposes, to biodiversity. Okay, and so J juice is the formula for biodiversity. It's a probiotic, and it's a right probiotic because it's working with salt and working with cabbage and kale and breaking it down. This, I can't tell you if your situation is going to get addressed. I can't tell you, because I have no idea what it is that you expect. I have no idea your medical background or your medical history. Maybe, Eleanor, you have like 200 symptoms. And maybe your blood clotting disorder is just one of 200. And then you do J juice. How do you know when it's going to get addressed? But maybe you have other issues that I don't know about, that you don't know about, that need to be addressed. So that's why you got to read the book and understand that you have symptoms that are going to come to surface, past, present, and future issues and triggers, and you got to deal with it. And I can't tell you if your blood clotting disorder is going to be addressed first or a year from now. I can't tell you. And that is not the role of me, is to tell you, okay, well, yeah, it's going to get addressed. It's going to get reversed. Everything's going to be perfect. No, because you could probably in one day take this and say, like, fuck this, I'm not doing this because it tastes nasty or whatever. So I can't promise you nothing. You have to understand, you as a person have to actually read the book, watch my videos, okay? You got to actually take responsibility for your health. And if you don't want to, go back in the system, take the poisons that are regulated by the FDA and deal with your issues that way. But the FDA already said to you guys, they deal with poisons. Read between the lines, guys. If you can't read between the lines, I don't know how to help you. And if you guys are still afraid of everything in the world, you're still working the conspiracies. Because I know a lot of you who claim to be, oh yeah, I'm doing J juice, but are still stuck in the conspiracies. You need to up your dosages, because you are looping. So looping. So I had to unfollow a lot of people that I've been, kind of like in communication with the last couple months. But I had to unfollow because I'm still seeing the same behaviors and people that claim to be on J juice. They're just giving me a bunch of lip service, but they are not exemplifying a person on J juice. They're still stuck in the activism, still stuck in the conspiracies, still stuck fearing everybody and their mother. And yeah, and then when something happens and they just like happen to contract some crazy ass disease, they'd be like, oh yeah, J juice wasn't strong enough for my situation. I'm too special because I'm a Pleiadian. I don't fall in the line of a human. That's what's going to be like the excuse for those that don't get the J juice benefits, that are in the conspiracy world, that think they're an alien. They'll just say, yeah, I'm a Pleiadian. J juice doesn't deal with Pleiadians. They only deal with humans. So anyway, so there is my hormones. I knew I was going to get triggered today a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing this whole thing with Dr. Sebi, and I've seen the Dr. Sebi people over the last couple years, and I haven't really focused too much on it because, I hadn't really gotten my arguments well ironed out and well articulated. But now, when I look at Dr. Sebi and what he's doing, and I can juxtaposition against my stuff, and then we look at what the FDA, and I had to get well-rounded to really see now what a charlatan Dr. Sebi was, truly. But I had to come full circle and understand the balance of why we have the FDA, why we have the OAG or the New York attorney, why we have attorney generals to begin with, why we have government to begin with, because we have mutated people who don't know any better. They do need mommy and daddy to help them out. Okay? If you know and you don't trigger government, if your kid is absolutely perfectly 100% well, they don't ever get sick, and if you don't ever get sick, guess what? You'll never trigger government or anybody. But if you get sick and your kid gets sick because you have mutations that are left unchecked, then it shows that you don't know what you're doing. And if you go see a naturopathic or a doctor, a regular doctor, and you don't take their advice, then yes, they have every right to come knocking on your door or pounding on your door, breaking it down because they don't know what you know or don't know. And obviously, if your kid is sick with 105 fever and you take it to a homeopathic who says you need to go take to the hospital and you don't listen, you deserve to have the law on your ass. You really do, because you're putting your kid in danger because you think you know what you're doing. And I saw that couple and they don't look very healthy. The couple that had the policeman come down on their door, they both look like they have a major hormonal imbalance. And so, yes, I totally agree with the Arizona law enforcement coming down against their door. And you know what? It is what it is. But if you claim to know stuff, then you better exemplify it. You better not be sick. And your kids better not be sick. Because guess what? I just proved that I can be around my husband who was sick and not get whatever flu he had or whatever cold. And it was a new pathogen because he got sick. Obviously, it's a new pathogen because if he gets sick, I'm exposed to the same stuff he gets exposed to because I'm around him. So whatever he gets, I would get exposed to too. But guess what? I never came down with any symptom of his sickness. And it's been a couple weeks now. So it means that I can be around people, I can be around new pathogens, whatever it is, and recover that quickly, like as if I never got sick. I wouldn't be in any inflammation stage. I wouldn't be mutating any viruses. I would not be sick at all. And I'm not. But those that are don't know what they're doing, and they haven't fixed the mutations in their body, and they're mutating disease as we speak, which means that, yes, you need government. And if you don't listen to the authorities, whoever it is that you went to because your kid had 105 fever, then yeah, the government has every right to get on your ass. So if you really want to show people that you know what the hell you're doing, stop getting sick, reverse the aging process, and stop getting sick. Period. Stop getting sick. Okay? That's all I can say, because proof is in the pudding. It's not paying lip service to something, saying, oh yeah, I'm doing J-juice, but you know, I'm not at all exemplifying anything with J-juice. I'm just saying I do J-juice because it's really trendy. It's not trendy doing J-juice at all. No, it's not. If anything, it's more of like, it could be a bane of somebody's existence. People purposely do not promote me because they don't want to deal with the backlash. And I get it. You know, you don't promote me on your Facebook. You don't exemplify anything as far as J-juice is, you know, as far as your behaviors. So yeah, you know, I have a lot of hypocrites on my Facebook, but that's okay, because it does take time for people to finally figure out that do they want to live or they want to die. They can pretend all they want, but you can only pretend for so long. You can only pretend for so long until the universe holds you accountable for what you say and what you don't say. And I see it. I'm aware. Okay, I'm not dumb. I don't always acknowledge it because there's no point in confronting someone with their hypocrisy. I'd be confronting everybody out there. I'm not going to do that. You got to live with yourself, whatever you are. So yeah, I just wanted to put it out there that Dr. Sebi was nobody revolutionary, nobody to revere, and definitely, you know, I'm over the conspiracy stuff. Over it, over it, over it. Okay? Now you have seen a different perspective. The FDA knows they deal with poisons. That's why it's regulated. That's all you have. That's the proof that you need. So there's no sense saying, oh yeah, the FDA, you know, biotech is poisoning. Well, of course it is. But they do it in a way to where, because you want the shortcuts. That's why drugs are drugs. Drugs are regulated for a reason. When you legalize a drug, it's going to be a public health crisis, but they can't stop somebody from growing weed in their backyard. They could try. I mean, if your neighbors smell like a large crop in your backyard, yeah, they're going to be like, okay, well, there's something going on over here. Or when you have a bunch of hydroponic lights or a bunch of lights going on and off, you know, all day long, and they see, you know, your electricity bill go sky high one day, well, yeah, there's probably a sign that there's a drugs thing going on. Okay? But they know they can't force people to not do drugs, to not drink alcohol, they can't force people to eat healthy. Yeah, Mike, we do. Yeah, the ignorance keeps them in business. Ignorance keeps the holistic world and the allopathic world in business. And so that's why we have to, we really need to work on promoting J juice. But those of you who aren't doing the J juice at the level that they should don't have the strength to promote J juice. Okay. And some of you have careers, some of you have other things that are going on. I get it. You don't want to, ruin your career. And believe me, if I try to go and apply for a job today in the matrix, they do a background check on me, and yeah, they'll be like, we don't want you over here. Or if I do work for somebody, it would be a small time business, and my name wouldn't necessarily be out there. So, it just depends, so I don't know, but you guys will figure out a happy medium to get J juice out there, because yeah, I mean, Mike, do the J juice. Mike Rue, R-I-O-U-X, do the J juice. Get rid of that whole business model of supply and demand in the holistic allopathic world, because it's all poison. And the FDA already said that to deal with poisons. And that's why you have to go through a very rigorous testing, double-blind study to get any kind of product approved for the market that has claims for specific diseases. Okay? So, it's time that we just stop now saying, oh yeah, they're hiding. No, they're not hiding anything. If anything, you guys are people that think the government is hiding the fact they're dealing with poisons have their head in the sand. You don't even know what the role of the FDA is. You don't know what the role of the CDC is. Okay, the FDA says, yes, we know we deal with poisons. We have to regulate. The CDC says, yes, we have diseases that mutate because we have a mutated population. So we have to keep track of where these outbreaks are. And guess what? There's another one. There's the Ebola one that's coming up. Okay? So I'm not afraid of the Ebola virus. I'm not afraid of any kind of virus that mutates out there, whether it's in Africa, India, or Asia, or America, or anything else. Because you know why? I have J juice. So I have no problem with any germs that are out there, because I understand the countering forces. I understand my recipe will counter the pathogens as well as heal your body from whatever it is that ails you, because you have 11 different systems, and strategic nutrition does not discriminate at all whatsoever. And if you think that nutrition discriminates, then you still fall in the lines of the allopathic holistic world, and you just stay in that world. And if you want proof, then you need to stay in the allopathic holistic world, because there's not enough proof that I can give you that would satisfy you. Not enough. So there's my little speech for the day. There's the hormones, you guys. So you got to experience my hormones today. Have a good one. Go to JILLYJUICE.com. Dr. Sebi is not a hero. And that guy Nipsey, whatever his name, Nipsey Tuck, whatever his name is, he probably died because he's part of the Crips. Okay, he wasn't like offed by Big Pharma or somebody because they don't want Dr. Sebi's methods being out there on Netflix. Whatever. That's another agenda of the holistic industry that Erin from Health Nut News keeps beating that drum. And she's beating that drum until it's dead. And it's not dead yet for her. She'll keep putting around, oh yeah, all these holistic doctors are dying. I call bullshit. They died because of their own protocols, not because of Big Pharma. They died of their own protocols. Period. End of story. Dr. Sebi died of his own protocol. Period. End of story. Bye.